It's a good start. Hold on, and you take that one. Yeah, I am. You would think I'd never done this before. Sorry about that. No, I'm not. I'm just clumsy. It's just me. Welcome to me. Oh, good morning. Now I'm set. Good morning, good morning. Okay, we're good to go. Man, so I just need to do this really quick. My birthday was yesterday. Mel asked if she could make everybody sing to me, and I said only if they sing to her, because her birthday was last week. And then we'd have to sing to Brandon, because his birthday was this week. Did we sing to Wayne? No. Did we? Who else? Adia's birthday's today. Kyrus's is tomorrow. Ezra's is Wednesday. I mean, we should have a January/February party. Avdens. We've got a whole slew of people. Well, guys, I'm excited to preach today, and I'd love for us to get started quick because we have a lot to go through. So if you don't mind, if you need a Bible, you can raise your hand. These amazing Dana and Melody will hand you a Bible. That's yours to keep if you don't have one, or you can leave it as you leave, and we'll take it back. But if you could open your Bibles to Hebrews chapter 11. This has been a wild book. Anybody else been blown away by Hebrews? Holy moly. From the get-go, not knowing who the author is, that always excites me. And then all of the craziness, even down to like a couple weeks ago with Wayne with just stabbing you in the heart. I don't know if you were there for that one a couple weeks ago with like the salvation. Ugh. I vomited. Just kidding. Everybody else cries. I just vomit on the front. Just kidding. Aaron last week, not to shrink back. Oh my, don't shrink back. And then we have an amazing protest in our city. Man, the timing of that one, incredible. And then on top of that, just on top of that, can we talk about the amazing protests that have been happening in our city led by teenagers? I mean, and guys, here's the thing. I got to be at the one at Cesar Chavez. These aren't just kids skipping school and using it as an excuse. These are kids that are organizing and planning and doing everything in their power to prepare a really good protest. And it's done like, I want to be like them when I grow up. They killed it. So what a cool, Hebrews in the midst of all this has been wild. So if you've got to Hebrews 11, if you could stand with me while we read. We're going to read Matthew, because Matthew was just up here. I have Matthew on the brain. We're going to read Hebrews 11, 1 through 7. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was invisible or was visible. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks even though he is dead. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. By faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, and holy fear, built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is keeping with faith. This is the Lord's word. You can be seated. Guys, in preparing this, I did some research, because I like to, and I was trying to see where our country is with faith. Because, we always hear that we have this percentage of Christians, we're good, godly people. Well, in the last 25 years, we went from 46% of adults are saying they're Christian. Now we're down to 24%. That's a big leap. And so I started doing some research on that, because my mind goes quickly to what do they think faith is? Can we talk about that? Because here's what happens. We start to think about faith, and we can maybe ask 10 people in the room, what is faith? And we're going to get 10 different answers. Because faith is a word that as Christians we just use a lot, and we use for everything. And I think what we've done is we've defined faith in a not complete way, and we've done a lot of damage to a lot of people. I think that faith is something that sometimes we try to act like it's It's something we have to do. It's like a trick that we have to get God's attention. Like if we say the right things and we yell enough, we say the right prayers, and we fast enough, we do all the right things, we're going to get God's attention and he's going to do what we asked. And that's faith. That's not faith. No wonder people left the faith. If they did that and they yelled and screamed and did all the things to ask and do what they're supposed to do and then God didn't answer, no wonder they left the faith. But what about those people who maybe they did everything right, you know? Like they fasted and they prayed and they did all the things and still God didn't answer, and their response was, well, I couldn't meet God's expectation. He expects too much and I couldn't do it. So I can't do faith. See, we've defined faith, I think, wrong. And I think it scares people. And then we throw in this verse, and Matthew read it this morning, Hebrews 11:6, and without faith it is impossible to please God. And if we don't understand faith, and that's the only thing we're focusing on, no wonder we feel like we're failing or he's failing. And we're losing people because they're believing something that's not real. We've made faith something that is personal. It's what I do. It's what I can achieve. It's how I get God's attention. It's what I have to do to meet his expectations. We make it about us, and that's not what faith is. Romans 10:17 tells us that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, right? So faith doesn't have to do with me, except that I need to be listening to his word, and that's faith. Then we have this thing about faith without works is dead. So then we get confused with that. We go, but then I have to work. No, you don't understand. When I understand faith, man, all I want to do is what he says. It's not works for faith. It's works that come from my faith. The author of Hebrews makes it clear that it's not about me, it's about who I have confidence in. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we see. It's not in me. My confidence and my assurance is not in me or what I can do. My confidence is in who. If my confidence is in who, then I can function. Then I can make things work when I'm dependent on him and who he is. So of our 5 kids and 1 husband, we've had almost all of them have some kind of surgery. I don't know, parents, if you've had to deal with surgeries with your kids. It's not fun. It's not fun. We've had it like an emergency surgery where we accidentally rolled Kairos' finger up in a window. Only once, you'll never do it again. You learn from your mistakes. And he had to have an emergency surgery, which was freaky. It was his finger, but your world is kind of rocked. Ezra had some back issues. We found out he had one leg that was shorter than the other, and so they did like a leg extension on that one, and that one we waited for, and we figured out it was so cool. It's like a beautiful, incredible surgery. Aaron's had some surgery done, some emergency surgery done. Dustin, when she was little, had dental surgery done, like all these surgeries that are happening. And here's what I figured out. My understanding of faith, I kind of understand through being a mom with people in surgery. Because here's what I realized. When one of my kids has to go to surgery, first we figure out there's a problem, right? There's a need. Something's broken. We need a surgeon. So we sit down with the surgeon explains what's wrong. Then they explain what they're gonna do in really nice terms. Did you ever notice that? Like the surgeons don't tell you the details. They just tell you enough to where you're like, yeah, we need that. Yep, don't want any of the details. We need that. And then you get your kid all ready, or your husband, get them all ready, get them all prepped, and you go into the special room. You get to stay with them, and you're ready. You're prepared for this thing. You've been prepared. You're encouraging the person getting the surgery. This is going to be great. This is going to be worth it. Just watch. It's so good. Even though inside you're like, oh, I'm scared. And then you hug them and kiss them goodbye, and then they go behind closed doors into an operating room. And then you sit and you wait. And then you keep going over in your head, okay, the doctor says it's gonna take 45 minutes, and you're watching every minute. And then it takes 50 minutes and an hour. For Aaron, it was supposed to be a 45-minute surgery. It was 3.5 hours of just waiting and not knowing what was happening behind those closed doors. And that I had to trust and have faith in that surgeon that he was doing what he said he was going to do, and that at the end of that, my baby would be okay. Faith so often is just that. Is us going, God, I can't see you. I can't find you in this story. I don't even mean physically see you. Sometimes we just go, God, I can't find you in this story. I don't know what you're doing. It does not make sense to me. And it's that same thing of going, wait a minute, though, I know who my God is. My confidence is in him. I don't know what he's doing. I can't see him. I can't figure out. I don't know the tools he's using. I don't know the process. I don't know how. I can't figure it out. But my confidence is not in me and what I can do. I'm not plowing into an operating room and taking over tools to try to fix the problem because I'll kill my kid. And he was just getting a finger surgery. But I have to have confidence and assurance in the one that's doing the work. And I can't see what's happening. And that's scary. And here's what's wild is I don't sit in the lobby going, this is great. It's all going to be great. I'm not going to say I'm scared. I'm not going to use those words. No, you're crazy. I'm actually probably sitting in the bathroom of the lobby weeping because that's my hiding place when surgery happens. And most things, I hide in the bathroom, cry, tell God, I can't see you. I can't see you. I don't see you, but I trust you. I don't have to see you because I trust you, because I know who you are. My confidence is in who you are. Okay, I can walk out and face this. And then you wait. And that looks like what faith is. In our world, there's things that we're having to live through and do, and we can't see God in it. And what we have to do is God, I can't do anything. I've done all I can. I have nothing left. My confidence has to be in you. Now, here's what's wild. When they come out of surgery, I don't know if you guys have felt this. Poor Ezra. I'm sorry, Ez. Ezra came out, I'm not going to lie, he looked better when he went in because when he came out, you remember, this poor boy, the medicines were hitting him, he could feel the pain, like it was just not, he didn't come out of surgery and went, yay, whew, all fixed. Nope, we went, okay, there's still, man, a good work was done. Like what the doctor did in that operating room was incredible. Sometime I'll tell you, incredible. But that doesn't mean that it's all fixed and all better, and we know this. So faith isn't even in, oh, I see the result and it's all better. It's that, God, I know you're still working. Even though I know you've done something big, you're not done. I still have to heal. Ezra's healing took 18 months. We went through a long healing and a long process, and had any time I went, God, where are you? What is wrong with you? You said you were going to heal him. God would go, no, I did. This is part of the healing process. See, what we do with faith is we go, God, I need to understand all the details. I need to see everything. You need to prove yourself. I need it to be tangible. And then when it is, and if you answered all my questions, then I might trust you, but I need to be part of the whole process. I need to okay everything. See, if the doctor had to tell me the details of all my baby's surgeries, if I had to look at all the tools and know that you're about to cut into my baby, I can't think about that. I don't want to know the process. I want to be able to have confidence in the surgeon and know that he's going to do what he's supposed to do, and we're going to see the other side of it. That's how I see faith. That's what's made faith something a little more tangible for me. Because even right now, in the season of my life right now, I cannot see God. I don't see him. I don't see the little things that go, oh yeah, I see you working in this way. I can't see him. And it's not the first season of my life like this. We've had seasons where we've had to go, God, we can't see you. It doesn't make sense. We did all the things. If my faith was based on we did all the right things, then everything would be how it is, but it's not. We did things pretty well, and yet. And so I have to trust the Lord and go, God, you're the surgeon. I don't have to be behind the closed doors to see what you're doing. I know you're doing. So my prayer is this: Lord, I choose to trust you. I can't see you, but I choose to trust you. That's where my faith lays. That's where my faith comes from, where my confidence is. It's not in what I can do and can't do. It's not in what somebody else can do or can't do. It's in a God whose word created, whose word fixes, whose word holds the waters above so we don't have a flood again. Just his word. That's where my confidence lies. I love what Hebrews does. The author is incredible because I think, I know the author wrote it for these people, but we look like them. We really, really look like these people. I love in verse 2, it says, this is what the ancients were commended for. See, they had this faith. And I think what we do, because this is the Hall of Faith, that's what it's called, where it's like so many cool stories of amazing people in our past that have done amazing things by faith. And I think sometimes what we do is we read these stories and go, oh, I have to do these things to have faith. Man, Noah, he had faith. If I could just have faith like Noah. Oh man, these people had this. If I could just have this. And I think we miss the biggest part of why the author of Hebrews tells us and reminds us of these stories. So I want to go through these couple of stories, which again, Aaron gets to preach next week. And man, the rest of these people, ugh. I love the next part. But if you could look at verse 3. Aaron gave him one job. Verse 3, by faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. By faith, my bad. By faith, my assurance, my confidence, by faith, we understand that the universe, the entire universe, was formed at God's command. By faith, my confidence and assurance is in that God truly made everything, so that what is seen was made out of what was not made out of what was visible. So everything we have was not there. God spoke a word, and it happened. Just his word created everything. Just as my confidence, and I love that the author starts with this verse in the hall of faith. First, don't forget that God started it. Don't forget where creation and what God did and the power of what he did. Start there so that you understand faith. Our God started everything just with his word, just his command. That's how powerful he is. Then he goes to the next verse, verse 4. By faith, again, interesting, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. Woof. Okay, so we have creation. Adam and Eve sin. Cain and Abel. You guys know Cain and Abel, the brothers. You guys know the story. They brought offering to God. Abel's was good. God was happy. Cain's wasn't. God was not happy. End result, Cain kills Abel. What? Why is this one in the, why does this want me to have? I don't want to have faith. I could be murdered. I don't know if that sounds great, Lord. But here's the wild thing. This is so cool. What Abel was doing and giving an offering was our first written understanding of worship. Abel worshiped, and you only worship something that you have a relationship with. Abel was worshiping God. I love this quote. Can you go to the next quote, Aaron? Oops. This is from a guy that I like to read. I don't know. Tell me later if he's any good, John. But Matthew Henry says that after the fall, God opened a new way for the children of men to return to him in religious worship. This is one of the first instances that is upon record of fallen men going in to worship God. And it was a wonder of mercy that all intercourse between God and man was not cut off by the fall. This was Abel getting to worship a God that he was in relationship with. That's faith. That's faith. That's confidence and assurance in a God that I worship, that I have relationship with, that he brought an offering. That was his act of faith. That was his worship. Abel was worshiping. He was a worshiper. Cain probably didn't have a relationship, and he did it out of religious duties, and then was mad that God didn't recognize him. And then we see that the next part that's not in here, but Cain murders Abel. What? But God, you were so happy with him. He was doing it right. He was worshiping right. Why did he live and why didn't Cain die? It doesn't make sense. Here's what's wild, though. I don't have to know what's happening in the operating room. I have a God that I know created the universe with his word. And for some reason, listen, God didn't kill Abel. It was because of sin. That wasn't God's plan. I don't know that we can blame God for Abel's death. But we sure can see that Abel had faith. And he was a worshiper. Now, verse 4. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. Go ahead and go to the next verse. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Enoch was cool, man. Enoch was known. Everything that you research on Enoch, you know the first two things that they say about Enoch? They talk about his relationship with God. He left earth when he was 365 years old. Said he always walked with God. He had a relationship with God. You know the second thing it talks about? He had kids. Those are the two biggest things that you hear about when you read about Enoch. His relationship with the Lord, and he had kids. That was it. That was his whole life. He had a relationship with God, and he had kids. Some of us moms need to hear this, because some of us think that we need to do more to prove our faith, that we're not doing enough as moms in relationship with our God. We should be doing more. Enoch did some other stuff, but what he's known for is those two things. By faith, he had a relationship with a God that he loved and knew, and he was commended as one who pleased God just because he walked and talked with him. He pleased God we can't read it. He was 365 years old. Don't you think he had bad days? Don't you think he had days when his kids were acting up? Or I'll tell you what, he did not like unholy people either. He had issues with unholy people. He had some issues. I guarantee there were days where he struggled. I guarantee there were days that he ran to the Lord and went, I can't see you in this. but I know you're there. 365 years, you know he saw some business. Yet, he was known for his relationship with the Lord and that it pleased the Lord and that he had kids. Top two, everything I looked at, those were the first two things that came up. I think that's amazing. First, you have Abel, who was a worshiper, did things well because he loved the Lord and was murdered by his brother. Then you have Enoch, who loved the Lord his whole life, and God didn't even make him see death. Those are very cool stories. Then the next one, I feel like they just get funner and funner. Again, by faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, didn't even have to see it, in holy fear built an ark to save his family. By his faith, my word, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. Y'all, this one's big. This is wild. Noah, there was something not seen that God called him to do. By faith, going, you know what, I have confidence and assurance in what I know about God, what I've heard, and what I know about God, that if he tells me to do this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And he did it. You know how long it took him? 100 years. So I read 50, 75, 100 years. Building a dang ark. Are you kidding me? Can I put one higher for you? I just turned 48. That's young. This man was, and I'm achy, like at the end of the day. I wake up in the morning, I have to stretch a little. My body's tired. This man was 500 years old when he started building this ark. 500. And he's building an ark. No wonder it took him so long, poor guy. It's kind of mean. In that time, though, it was for his family. You think his family stayed the same for 100 years? Nah, his family grew. He had more family. By faith, he was doing this thing. Now, for 100 years or 75 years, however long it took him, are you telling me that there weren't days and weeks and months where he was like, Lord, I cannot see you in this. This does not make sense to me. People are making fun of me. They're ridiculing me. They're trashing my family. What are you doing to me? Are you telling me there weren't days and times and seasons that he went through that? But you know what? He was known for his faith and his obedience and listening to a God that he had confidence and assurance in. He kept going. I love the second part of what he did, because I feel like we don't focus on this enough. We know that it wiped out all the people. But listen to how the Message puts it. And then, by faith, Noah built a ship in the middle of dry land. He was warned about something he couldn't see and acted on what he was told. The result, his family was saved. His act of faith drew a sharp line between the evil of the unbelieving world and the rightness of the believing world. As a result, Noah became intimate with God. I love that, how they said that. He drew a fine line was created between you believe, you live, you didn't believe, you died. Something was so clear in what Noah was doing. God was doing something drastic and big, and what it took was Noah going, I have faith and confidence and assurance in the God that I know, who created everything out of nothing. That I know, that I'm going to hold on to. That's faith. It didn't have to do with Noah's ability to build an ark. It didn't have to do with his skill set and the tools he used and the things he did, and that he prayed every day 7 times a day and he did all the right things. That's not what it was about. It was that there was confidence in a God who said to do it. The end. He'll take care of, provide, and do the rest. I do not have to worry about it. Hey, let me show you another way. Can you give me that clear one? I started to see it less of just stories and as a timeline, which was super cool to see it as. This incredible timeline where you keep reminding me to do that. Technology, ugh. Okay, this incredible timeline. The first thing he said, second verse was creation, right? So we have creation, everything he did, his own words. Then he created Adam and Eve with his hands. Beautiful story, our founding story and everything we believe in and start from. And then we travel in Adam and Eve and sin and all the bad things. And then you have Abel, right? Beautiful story again of a worshiper and what he's doing to serve his God. And then you go a little farther and, we have Enoch and his incredible story. Incredible. And then we have Noah, all the wild things he did. Here's what I started to think about, because sometimes we read the Bible and we read it very one-dimensional, and we forget to think about the personality and the stories and the time. Abel was about 100 years old when he was murdered. And I want you to think about that. Like, he'd lived a lot of life. He'd worshiped God for a long time. He probably had time to be like, nah, this ain't real. But he had confidence and assurance in his God. And then, you guys, he was murdered by his brother. Like, that's not a happy ending. That's not the story that makes sense of when we brag on how great God is. Oh, by the way, Cain killed Abel. No big deal. No, dude, that's our first murder. That's a big deal. Enoch, 365 years old. Again, seen some stuff, but stayed faithful to the Lord and had relationship with the Lord. Again, 365 years. I can't imagine what all he saw. Noah, 500 years when he started. I think he died 600 years plus, right? Does that sound right? John, help me. How old was Noah? Higher? How old? You're so kind. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. How old was? Dang! 950 years, geez Louise, old. Oh my gosh. And I gotta tell you, so we have these stories, beautiful stories, and then you get to Noah, and we're bragging on his ark, right? But do you remember afterwards? That dude didn't end strong. He was messy, to say the least. Things got real weird with Noah. But you know how we remember him? How God spoke about him. God didn't talk about his failures after the ark. That's not what he's known for. That's not what he was commended for. We know him the way God wants us to know him, the way God sees him. So we have all of this beautiful and messy and all the mix, and honestly, it's like a roller coaster. Just the life, there was the sin of Adam and Eve, and there was all the horrible people that Enoch did life with. It was a lot of mess. How did these people in this hall of faith, how did they hold on to their faith? How did they trust in a God who was wild and crazy and sometimes didn't make sense? And a lot of times they couldn't see because he was behind the operating doors. How did they hold on to their faith? Because we want to know. We're living in a jacked up world right now, in a jacked up country, and we don't understand why things are happening the way they are. They don't make sense. We're living in our jacked up lives, our own stories that are messy, that don't make sense. Here's the one thing that is consistent through this entire story. The one constant, never changing, never different, not affected by our brokenness, not affected by who we are, not affected by if we fail or we succeed, not affected by anything. Our God is our confidence and assurance, and he's never failed, and he's never messed up, and he's never forgotten us, and he's never left us. So faith, honestly, probably should be a lot easier than it is. If our confidence and our assurance is truly in the God that we know. Here's what I want you to do just for the last couple of minutes. This is what I'm asking. I love what the author of Hebrews did for us, that we'll continue on next week, of going through this beautiful history of our story. And we get to see, like, I'm telling you, some messed up people, jacked up, and stay jacked up. But they're known to God as being those that had faith. So first, I want you to be hopefully encouraged that whatever life looks like right now for you, choices you've made, things you've done, things that have been done to you, that's not the way God sees you. That's not the story he tells of you. And also, the second thing that I want you to do is for the next couple of minutes, I want you to just quietly, with your eyes closed, think about your story. Think about your life. Think about when God's shown up for you and protected you and walked with you when you probably didn't even know it. I want you to think about your story when you gave somebody or something else credit for being your protector, your rescuer, your provider, when maybe now you can look back and go, dang, that was the Lord. I want you to look and see in your timeline this red line. I want you to see where God has been faithful and loved you, where the story that he tells of you is not the story you tell, that you're his, that he commends you for your love, that he loves you being close to him, that he loves your story, that even when you can't see him, man, he's working. That even when he's done healings and you've come out of it and gone, God, it doesn't look perfect yet, that he's stuck with you as you continue healing and growing. You are so loved. So loved that when it comes to faith, we don't have to waver. We don't have to mess up. But when we do, when our faith wavers, when we struggle with seeing him, we can stop and go, no, but you're here. I can't see you. I can't see you in this, but I know you're here because you've told me that. And I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it in my life. I've seen it through these lives. When I stop and I think about it, I see you. So I want you to take a few minutes. I'm going to pray, and then I'll let the worship band begin in the next couple minutes. But I just want you to bow your heads and close your eyes. Lord, thank you for meeting us where we're at. We don't have to beg for you to show up or do anything crazy to wish you were here, but you're here. You never leave us. Lord, I thank you that when we can't see you, when it does not make sense, God, I know time and time again, sitting with people who've lost a loved one and having no words and no answers, I can't find you. I don't see you in this. But God, you're there, and you're weeping with us, and every one of our tears you catch, and every tear you cry with us. Lord, when things are broken in our lives, and we just have to depend on you because there's just nothing else. God, you love that. You love it when we just know how much we need you. Lord, I pray as we're thinking through our lives and we're remembering when you've shown up, when you've protected, when you've seen, that even right now when we look back and we can say, dang, I missed that and I missed that. Or I remember that was good. That all of that is just meant for us to go forward. God, we want to look back so that we have the hope to move forward and the confidence to move forward and the assurance to move forward, knowing that you have a plan and a process that we don't get sometimes. But our faith is in you. Not in us, not in this world, not in things. Our faith is in you because you're secure and steady. You're more real than anything, Lord. We choose to trust you, and we choose to rest in you. In Jesus' name.